Hey, it's Jay from Lords of War. I hope everyone is enjoying their summer. Some pretty cool thing out this week. As you can see by the colors in the background, we have the new contrast paint, which is officially out this Saturday. So we're inviting everyone to come in and try all the new paint. I've gotten a chance to kind of run it through its paces as much as I could today. Painted up this Stormcast Sequitur demo model. And yeah, I tried to use as many contrast paints in as many places as I could. I did use a bit of regular paint just for some highlighting, which, to be honest, could be done with strictly contrast paint. And basically that means you kind of do things in the inverse. So you would like very lightly stain and shade and glaze things, leaving, you kind of have to put the shadows in first and then, work your way up. I don't have time to do that. So I kind of did it, as well as I could, doing a bit of pre-shading and using the colors in as many ways, in a way that could create shadows and highlights. But ultimately I did need to reach for some standard paint just for the pastel, the really bright spot, the edge highlights, things like that. Anything that's almost bright white needed to get brought back up. That being said, I thoroughly enjoyed using the new paint. For those of you that are kind of wondering, is it just more contrast paint? Is it a gimmick? I'm gonna say definitively no. It is, as in it's not a gimmick. It's I would say if you already heavily use contrast paint, you'll be thrilled, because you've got, I don't know, almost 40 new colors and contrast paints and shades. So the ones on the left are shades, which includes existing shades redone, reformulated like Null Oil. So this Null Oil will be different from the Null Oil you might have at home already. As in, it's the same color, but the consistency is a little different. I think you'll like it more, to be honest. And they've also they've got new colors. So for example, this blue shade didn't exist before. We had Drakenhof, which is somewhere here, which is just really, it's like a blue-black, whereas this is kind of like a saturated blue. But it's still a shade, so it's what you'll notice with the shades, as opposed to the contrast, is they're kind of heavier. They kind of remind me a bit of the gloss shades, but they're not super glossy either. They're kind of heavier. They don't run. You have a little bit more time to push them around. They don't stain as much. So those of you that kind of have been dabbling with oil paints, you'll kind of feel like these have a bit of that going on as well. Actually really nice to use. And I have a theory, and that is that you'll want to use some of the contrast paints almost as base colors. You probably noticed online some of the examples where they do a Blood Angel Space Marine or something, and he looks like he's just too solid. There's not enough of the shading going on, where it's just it looks kind of flat. I think the idea is you might use something like this very nice solid Bile Red, and then you might use the one of the maybe Redclin Flesh Shade or something, or this Berserker Blood, for example, Blood Shade, to then shade. So you kind of can do a base coat and then shade with this. And the reason I like that, actually, rather than having it all in one, like the kind of Gen 1 contrast paints, is you have more control, because the Gen 1 contrast paints tend to have the issue of it can look blotchy on flat surfaces. These don't really look blotchy, the newer ones. So I think that's a big deal. So some takeaways are, on the contrast side, they feel less thick. They're not as thick, but they don't run. So they kind of got the sweet spot. The opacity is excellent. This Imperial Fist looks kind of thin in the jar. You apply it. Let me find the model here again. Yeah, so on the cape here, or on the dressing or whatever, it went on very solid. It was actually one of the most easy, hassle-free yellows I've used in my life. And it dries so smooth. I'm not being hyperbolic. It's phenomenal. Yeah, and I know I said that about the first, the Aeandan yellow, but the richness of the color and the saturation in the new kind of style formula is just incredible. So I really enjoyed using that. I actually tried to be a little more, like I said, I was trying to use all the skills all at once. So I used some of this Garax sewer, which is just brown, to do a little. I could have been heavier with it, but to do a bit of like a pre-shade. So I would, while this model was white, I just hit some spots with the brown you can kind of see it a little bit better here and in the folds, to make it so that when I would put the yellow on, you would get like darker, dirtier yellow in the folds and brighter, poppier yellow here. So the yellow I was using was Imperial Fist. I used that Garrick Sewer. For the blue, this has actually been popular. I've noticed a few people pre-buy this already. The Storm Fiend blue. Couple things. One more thing. They do still have a bit of the separating. Just take a brush and stir it up. Honestly, once you stir it up, it's not a problem. It's just when they sit on the shelf, you know, in the warehouse. That's what happens. So anyway, I stirred this one up nice, and I found it was this kind of like purpley blue. It was but it was a little desaturated. It was very solid though. It covered over the white really nicely. I was explaining to one of the guys that was here, because they were asking me, and I was like, it feels like you can paint with this contrast paint more. You're not just kind of washing it over things. You can kind of paint like you were painting a standard paint, using like it's kind of like, you know, they always say, oh, use too thin coats. It's like, well, this is already the pre-thinned thin coat, so you don't have to worry about getting adding water and mixing it the wrong consistency. It's always consistent in the jar. So that was my base coat, and then I used some just, I don't know, I used like what I did is so I found that to be a little desaturated. So then I used this Asperman blue to go, and this kind of filled the cracks and made everything that more richer blue, which I liked. But the shade doesn't cover like a contrast paint, so they complemented each other there, which was good. For the yellows on the gold, it was a combination of Imperial Fist and not this one, Magma Draft orange. Very nice solid orange, which was frankly missing from the previous range, in the Gen 1 range. Really awesome color, great for glazing and golds. For the metal, which was kind of, tried to opt for this kind of like non-metal steel color or whatever, I was doing I was using some, where is it, a bit of this Eldaria Emerald, and it's kind of various greens and blues. I was using some where's this color, a bit of this Briar Queen Chill, which is like this interesting steely gray color. I was using a bunch of Colia green shade, which I needed to put in the shade. It's one of the shades. Yeah, I get somewhere around here. And kind of working between those worked quite well. And then there's a bit of this purple. It's that Sigvald Burgundy. It's quite nice as well. You can see it on the leathery parts here. I thought the purple would go well with all the other colors. Super nice, really rich. You can tell they're also made to kind of be like, you want to kind of, if you want to be really subtle, you could cut the contrast paint with some medium, do a thin layer, and then go back with the, that's kind of like your mid-tone, and then you could leave some areas brighter, and then you could take the straight color in its like really saturated form and just shade with it, and you can get some really quick gradients with it if you practice with it a bit. So overall, a lot of fun. I think the model came out all right, and really smooth. The finish is very nice. It's got that, it's not too shiny. It's got that kind of satin. It's durable. It doesn't rub off. Doesn't reactivate previous layers. Yeah. So I think it's well worth checking out. Some other small things that you'll need if you don't already. Get yourself some well palettes. So contrast paint is not regular acrylic paint. It's like a mixture of things to give it all these properties, so that it goes into cracks and it glazes and does all these things. So you want to put them in the wells rather than a flat palette or a wet palette. Wet palette can break the consistency because the moisture doesn't mix well with the paint, and you'll need some medium. So contrast medium would be ideal because it's made for it. I know a lot of stores are short on it, including us. Lamian medium will work. I also have, that you can see I've used a lot of it because it's I'm pretty low. As in, this is my personal jar, but we sell other jars, bigger jars of this. The AK acrylic thinner. I haven't found a paint range we sell that didn't work well with this, so I was using this with my mixes today. A couple drops goes very far, and works really well too. I've also had people have good results also with Vallejo acrylic medium. So any of these acrylic mediums, highly recommend to cut the paint in the shades if you like. Use the well palette. Also, I painted the model entirely with a couple of synthetic brushes that we sell. The Green Stuff World brush, excellent. Probably some of the best synthetic brushes, and they're cheap. We actually sell a set of 4 for like $30. That's phenomenal. And we also have the AK Orange Handle cheapo brushes. These are like 5 each. Hold their shape really nicely. Yeah, it was just joy to use. And the reason you want to use the synthetics is they do a better job of spreading the mixture around, and they're very precise, which is good, so you don't kind of slosh around too many weird places. And frankly, they don't. You know, these types of paints are harsh on standard, natural hair brushes. Any of these shades in contrast, they are. You tend to be pushing them around, so they're drawing on the bristles more. They're getting in the ferrule. And I think I wouldn't use your nice Artist Opus or Handovers or whatever Kolinsky Sable brush you use. I wouldn't recommend using them with. I mean, you can, but you're going to run through a brush fast. So yeah, give these a go. So once again, come by this Saturday. We open 10 to 6. We've got some demo models. Bring some of your own models. Primed white or off white. You still need to kind of follow that. Those steps, just like with regular contrast paint, and come try these out. So we'll have these on the table. Obviously, you're welcome to go to the website and order up any colors that you like before they're they're going to sell quick, especially some of these hot colors. I think Imperial Fist, for example, will probably be a color that sells really fast. I've already seen Storm Fiend sell. This Croxagore Scales is a beautiful color, turquoise. It's like a dark greenish blue. This I need to find an application for, but it looks super cool. It's ice blue. There's a skin tone here that I haven't gotten to use. There's obviously the Briar Queen will be great on any 9 haunt. This Dreadful Visage is also cool, like Daemontic color of skin. Yeah, so yeah, come in and try them out.